Hey everyone, hope you're well. Thank you for coming on and having a look at this third episode of Lockdown Chatter with me, Michael Bailey. Hope you're all well as can be at this current time. Today I've invited Nicola Taylor of Utility Warehouse on to give us some information about why it's important to shop around for all of our utilities, and also a few ways that we can save some money, which I'm sure everybody will be interested in. So Nicola, if you wouldn't mind introducing yourself.
Yeah, my name's Nicola Taylor. I actually live in the Preston area, but I just help and advise people on reducing and redirecting their utility spend.
Okay. I think you helped my dad as well, didn't you? I don't know if he was doing something because he's just moved. And
yeah, he's just moved house, so I was chatting to him about his phone and broadband and his gas and electricity. Yeah.
Brilliant. Thank you, Nicola. So what are the reasons, Nicola, then why we should shop around for our utilities? Obviously, gas, electric, TV, that kind of stuff. Why should we be looking at doing that?
One of the main things people pay for in the household after their mortgages and after their cars is things like their television. People are paying an awful lot of money for their phone, broadband and television packages all wrapped up in one. So there's multiple ways that you can reduce this massively. One of the ones at the moment is if you're taking BT Sport, whether you're with BT, Sky or Virgin, you need to be ringing up and having it removed from your bills, because you're not getting the BT Sport. You pay for it to get all your live matches and things. So that's one way straight away you can be saving sort of between 12 and 18 pounds a month just on having that one thing removed. There's also different ways that you can still get the phone and broadband, so you get that reduced, but you don't need to be paying for the TV packages. Really think about which TV you're actually watching. 76% of people don't actually watch the TV that they actually pay for. So think about the channels that you are watching and see if there are alternatives like Now TV or Netflix. You don't need to be paying the big boys the big money. In today's climate, there are ways that you can work around it.
Wow. What was that stat? Did you say 76?
76% of people don't watch the TV that they pay for. So when you actually look at it, it might be that you're paying £10 a month or £15 a month for movies, but you don't actually watch movies. Or the movies that you watch, you maybe watch one every 3 months.
Yeah.
But that's effectively costing you £45.
Right.
So, yeah. So, think about the entertainment packages. A lot of the entertainment packages that you're paying for, you can get them on things like Now TV for £9.99 a month. But the difference between Now TV and Sky is when you can't afford to pay it, you just stop it. Sky, you go into a contract with them, whereas things like Now TV, you're not in a contract, you can get out at any point. But just over a period of a week or 2 weeks, just write down all the channels that you actually watch, and then have a look and see if you can get it on Freeview. A lot of these are on Freeview that you don't even need to be paying for any TV on.
Oh, that is a good tip, and you're right. I did that following your advice with Sky Sports that we've got, and tried to amend the package, and they were trying to, as you say, get me to sign into another 18-month contract. So I just told them for now to take the sport off. So that's a really, really good tip. How has the current climate and time sort of affected your business, Nicola, and how you work and how you help people?
It hasn't really affected us, because at the end of the day, everybody's still going to have gas, electricity, phone, broadband, mobiles. So it is a commodity that we all have. It's the ultimate consumable, but it's just about making sure that you look at it and maybe go on the comparison websites. My company isn't on a comparison website. But just have a look and see if you're paying, or you feel you're paying the right amount. The first thing you've got to double check, though, is when you go onto your energy, have a look at your annual consumption. That's the figure that you need, but you need to make sure that's not an estimated figure, because anybody can ring up anybody or go on a comparison site with an estimate, and they'll say, yeah, we'll transfer you. That's £50 a month. That's £10 less than you're paying your current provider. But when the figures actually go through, because they're estimated, all of a sudden it jumps to £70 a month, and you think you've been ripped off. It's not that you've been ripped off. What it is the correct figures haven't gone in the first place. So it's so vital that when you do a change, that you actually do it based on your actual annual consumption, not an estimate.
Fine. Well, that's a very, very good tip. Thank you. And sort of in terms of perhaps cost cutting and people being looking after the pennies at the minute. What are your top tips on what we can do to reduce our energy consumption?
At the moment, because the sun's out, if you don't actually need the heating on, maybe turn it off, because it'll pay dividends further down the line. But little things like, if you have got the heating on, maybe think about turning it down just 1 or 2 degrees. That can make a big difference. The biggest one that I took on board quite a few months ago is how many times a day you stood next to the kettle boiling it, walking away, and then coming back and boiling it again. So by the time you have 1 cup of tea, you boil the kettle 4, 5, 6 times. The kettle does use quite a bit of energy. So if you're going to make a cup of tea or a cup of coffee, boil the kettle, stand by it and pour your drink. They're only tiny tips, and it'll be a tiny bit at the moment, but over a period of time, again, they add up. Another one is think about LEDs in the house. At the moment, you probably maybe can't afford to go out and buy LEDs, but if you can, it's worth getting them. But make sure you get the top quality ones. Don't get the cheap and cheerful ones. By installing LED light bulbs throughout your home, you're reducing your energy bill every year, not just 1 year, or for the lifetime of the bulbs, by about 15%. So in terms of keeping the planet green as well, that means that you as a household are not taking 15% of the energy from the national grid, not just 1 year, but every year. A good LED bulb should be costing you about £10. With our company, depending on the criteria, but we actually install free light bulbs throughout people's homes, irrelevant to the number of light bulbs you get. But I'm always happy to talk to anybody about that on a different level.
Yeah, because I think we've talked about that before. Because in my place, there's quite a lot of there were the older style spotlights, but since we've had the LEDs put in, they've definitely reduced our bill over the period of time, and the consumption's dropped down, which is obviously, as you said, great for the environment, great for the bills, and great for everybody all around.
I was going to say, we had 91 installed, and that's not because I've got a massive house. It's just that we've got a lot of the little, what they call GU10s. Well, on the basis of 91 at £10 a piece, that's £910 in LED bulbs.
Wow.
When do most people go out and go, I'm going to spend £910 on LED bulbs? You just don't do it. So there's the opportunity to get them for free. Yeah,
brilliant. Well, again, you got like a double saving there, haven't you, from getting the bulbs and obviously energy too. Are there specific groups of people that you tend to help, Nicola, or is it anybody? Or
for the free light bulbs, it's groups of people that sort of are looking at multi-utilities. Homeowners, ideally. Tenants over 30 can have them. The reason for tenants over 30 is really because they're less likely to move. But I help all sorts of people. I'll help business customers with their business, gas, electricity, water, but I'll also help domestic customers. Just do a review of the bills and have a look at it and see what I can save, give it any advice. Some people are locked into contracts, especially with the TV providers. And that's where it can be a problem because you can't get out of it without some big penalties. With the energy, domestically, you are not in a contract. Commercially, you are, and you're bound by those contracts. But domestically, you are not in a contract. You just have to pay an exit fee. So if it works out a viable proposition to go to another energy provider and your exit fee is effectively written off by the savings that you'll make, then it's worth swapping. You don't have to stay in because your contract says you're in this deal until December. If it's going to cost you, on average, £25 is the norm to get out of your energy contract. So it could cost you £50 to £60 to get out of it, but if you're saving £200, then it's a worthwhile thing to do.
And how can smart meters help us in terms of saving money off our utilities?
The biggest thing with smart meters is it means it's sending the readings directly to your energy provider. So by sending the reading, you're not on an estimated bill. You're not going to end up with £400, £500, £600 in debt because you haven't taken meter readings along the way. Because ultimately, it is your responsibility, if you haven't got a smart meter, to send in regular meter readings. If you've got a smart meter, that's happening anyway. the smart meter then has the visual display, so there is a link between the two. And it just helps you set a budget. If you've got a budget for energy, you can set it at £25, £40, £50, whatever your budget is, and see if you can work within that. But it also means that, like I said, when you boil a kettle, you'll see it move up, you'll see all, those things flashing away, and it just helps you monitor what you're using in your house and make changes that will help you keep within your budget.
Yeah, and I guess, as you say, it helps you be a bit more mindful of the energy you're using, because there's the visual representation on the meter itself.
Yes, yeah. I'll just at the bottom of the stairs, and every time I walk up the stairs, I think, is that in the red zone? Is it in the amber zone? So you're conscious of it, but some people might think, I don't want any of that, and I'm not interested. Well, as long as you have the smart meter fitted and it's in your meter cupboard, and those readings are going through to your energy provider, the visual display bit is that's all it is. It's a visual display. You can unplug that and put it in a drawer if you don't want to see it.
Right, okay. And how can people get in touch with you, Nicola, if they wanted to sort of get your advice as to how they could reduce their energy bill?
If they want to give me a ring, I'm on a landline, so the Preston number is 01772 712 675. So that's Preston 712 675. My mobile is 07940 853 890. So that's 07940 853 890. Or just email me on Nicola, Nicola, at itsuptoyou.co.uk. So that's ITSUP, the number 2, YOU.co.uk, or via Utility Nick on Facebook.
And I'll put the link to your Facebook page on once this is finished. And because I've got a lot of connections all over the place. You're not you can help people anywhere in the country, or just in the northwest, or?
I can help anybody throughout the UK. The only places I can't do are the Channel Islands and the Isle of Man, because they're not deregulated. And on a domestic level, we don't do water, because water is not yet deregulated. But on a commercial level, I can help people reduce their commercial bills.
Brilliant. Well, thank you ever so much for your time, Nicola. Everyone, I hope that's been useful for you if you're considering trying to take some money off your energy bills. And thanks ever so much for your time.
Thanks, Michael. Bye.
Take care, Nicola. Bye.
Bye.